Joe Biden doesn't want you to see this devastating video that should end his campaign. That's right, in this video, we're going to see a resurfaced video montage from his first candidacy that's an absolute embarrassment. How it's all part of a pattern of behavior that has plagued Biden for decades, and how that pattern of behavior is already beginning to unravel his fledgling campaign. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. If this is your first time with us and you're looking for some daily encouragement and optimism, as well as analysis to help you make sense of these crazy times, then you have found your oasis in this channel. We analyze current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so we can all live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel, where each and every day we together celebrate, yes, the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, I'm also excited to let you know that we do have a big announcement coming this Friday. We've got an awesome new development here on Turley Talks. I'm going to let that anticipation set in here, so I can't wait to share it with you. But mum's the word till tomorrow. Before we check out the resurfaced Biden video together, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of this awesome motion detector ultra bright solar nightlight. Now you can install it anywhere because it's wireless, and you never need to worry about buying batteries because it's solar powered with a high powered battery storage pack. It's equipped with motion detectors. It becomes an entertainment light for the patio and for the barbecue with just the click of a button. And its motion detectors offer effective deterrents against burglars. And best of all, you just don't have to spend a fortune for any of it. If you click on the link below right now, you'll save 52% off as well as free shipping to boot. So what could possibly be better? Do not wait. Click on that link below or visit nightsolarlight.com and bring its light to the dark spaces in your home today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. There is a fascinating video compilation that's making its way around the internet from the first time that Joe Biden ran for president back in the late 1980s, and it's precisely what the Bernie people were so concerned about. All right, so let me play you portions of this video montage, and then I want to show you precisely why Bernie's people were warning Democrats about this, how Joe Biden's history of lying and plagiarism was going to come back to haunt him big time. Check it out.
Democratic presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seemed to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania don't come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now that's a little too much because, as you point out, what's behind the words? What's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
But CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge, that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children,
The health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play.
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things. and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim, or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Is it a wise idea, though, to take something that personal, anyway, from another politician and try and appropriate it to your own campaign?
I think it was a stupid thing to appropriate material that was really very personal, that was someone else's.
Most people didn't know who he was, you know, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, oh yeah, he's the guy who plagiarized.
That's a lot of people.
Politically, that's devastating.
These clips are devastating. He looks like a Joe Biden wind-up doll with somebody else's words coming out.
If they're going to do things that are stupid as well as immoral, then they're probably too dumb to have the job of president.
Voters are going to have to decide whether he was dishonest or dumb.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
And I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Joe Biden was victimized by the truth.
Bye-bye Biden. He may not know it yet, but I think this is going to be very difficult for him to recover.
Is Joe Biden dead meat, yes or no?
I think so.
Bob?
It's in terminal condition.
Terminal. Eleanor?
Yes, unless he comes in third in Iowa.
Morton?
Dying.
I say dead.
All right, so it's really pretty stunning stuff if you think about it. And it's frankly a sign, of abject laziness. When all is said and done, Biden simply didn't put in the time to read and to formulate his own thoughts and create his own style and arrangement of ideas. He's just so lazy, he just parroted someone else. And he deliberately presented his parroting as original thought, as rhetoric that was original to himself. And then, when he gets painted into a corner, right? We've certainly seen this of late. When he gets painted into a corner, he just says off-the-wall stuff. He claims to have graduated first in his class. He claims to have gotten 3 degrees, or more recently claims that if you're black and you vote for Trump, then you're not black. This is just a pattern for Biden. And this is precisely what the Bernie bros, the Bernie supporters, were warning Democrats about. All you need to do is check out some of the clips on this video made by Mehdi Hassan on his Twitter feed. Hassan is a pundit for Al Jazeera, an uber Sanders fan, and here's what he tweets out. Forget the gas. What about Biden's lies? My latest The Intercept video essay on how the former Veep gets a pass from Democrats and much of the media for making stuff up and telling brazen falsehoods, but it'll hurt him in the general against Trump. Now, keep in mind, this has been retweeted nearly 6,000 times. That's more than the total number of people tuning in to see Biden's hilarious mock press briefings from his basement of his home, right? It's actually 3 times the audience that Biden is getting. But as we can see, this fellow's absolutely right. This is a pattern with Biden. When he gets confronted and he's, when he's tired and he just doesn't know what to say, which is pretty much always the case now, he just turns around and just says off-the-wall stuff. You ready for some examples? Well, first, we've got something for you podcast fans out there. We recently launched our brand new Turley Talks podcast, which tens of thousands of you have been downloading. I cannot thank you enough for that. So grateful. And we're excited to share with you that we are now the 14th most downloaded podcast for American news on Apple Podcasts. We've jumped 20 slots just in the last couple of weeks. Really amazing. We're now officially in the top 20 of American news broadcasts, and we have you to thank for that. But you can help us actually become the #1 conservative news and commentary podcast by simply clicking on the link below in the pinned comment section and signing up to download our new podcast. Twice a day, every day. You can take Turley Talks anywhere you go, so make sure to click on the link below and sign up for our Turley Talks podcast, and let's together make it to #1. All right, so do you remember when Biden was visiting a manufacturing facility in Detroit? Several of the workers surrounded him to talk about his positions on the political issues of the day, and one of the guys came out and said that Biden was effectively trying to diminish our Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms, which is a perfectly reasonable assertion given that Joe Biden had just claimed not even a week prior to that Beto O'Rourke, the guy who said, hell yeah, we're going to take away your AR-15s. Yeah, that guy. Biden wants him to head his task force on gun control. So it's a perfectly reasonable assertion. What was Biden's response? Do you remember this? Biden's response to all that was to insult this guy, this voter. He told him that he was full of shit. And then when another one started to talk, he said, hush. He told him to hush. And then he said he fully supported the Second Amendment as he's dripping, in his lips. But not when it comes to AR-14s. No, obviously he meant AR-15s. He clarified that later. But yes, the danger to America is now AR-14s. And then when things didn't go quite Joe's way, he freaking challenged the guy to a fight. He called him a horse's ass and challenged him to take it outside. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. Or who can forget when he accused another voter at one of his rallies that, of course, nobody attends, but he called one of the few people who attended, this before COVID, he called it a lion dog faced pony soldier. It was a girl, too, if I recall. With all the artificial hype that the media, the mainstream Marxist media, is trying to prop him up with, we can forget just how extraordinarily weak of a candidate Biden is. We can forget that Biden was a disaster at the Iowa caucus, which itself was a disaster. It took us days to find out which Democrat won. And then a couple of weeks later, he came in an embarrassing 5th place in New Hampshire. He didn't even break 10% of the vote. In the first primary, it was utterly humiliating. No candidate who placed 5th in New Hampshire went on to win the presidency ever. It was only because the establishment was so freaked out about Bernie, right, that they all lined up behind Biden, including Bernie. I mean, how's that for a man of principle, right? Even Sanders like, oh, I'll line up behind him. But this is the devil's bargain that the Democrats and the mainstream Marxist media was playing here. No one who's placed 5th in New Hampshire has gone on to win the presidency. We've never had a third timer go on to win the presidency. We've never had someone run for president 3 times only to go on to win. There's a reason the person lost the first 2 times, and I think we just saw it. We're seeing Biden collapse in the polls. We talked about this on yesterday's video, right? According to Rasmussen polling, President Trump has now officially taken the lead over Joe Biden. Now, President Trump leads Joe Biden 47% to 46%. And again, we mentioned yesterday, if we go back a couple of months to the end of July, Rasmussen had Trump losing to Biden by 8 points. If we go back 4 weeks, Biden was leading Trump by 4 points. If we go back 2 weeks, Biden was leading Trump by 2 points. Do you see the pattern there? And now, as of yesterday, Trump has officially taken the lead. So we can see a very clear trend of things moving in Trump's favor. And it's not just Rasmussen. According to the Democracy Institute's polling of 1,500 likely voters, Trump now leads Biden nationally by 3 points, 48 to 45%. And he has a commanding 7-point lead in the so-called battleground states, the swing states. And it gets even better. Again, we mentioned this in yesterday's video. When we go to the Real Clear Politics aggregate polling that averages out all the polls, Trump and Biden are closer today at this time than back at 2016. In In the mid-September 2016, Hillary led Trump by 4.6%. Today, Biden leads Trump by 2.7%. So Hillary had almost double the averaged out lead over Trump than Biden does. And of course, she went on to decisively and embarrassingly lose most of all those swing states. So it does appear that Biden is imploding. And if this newly resurfaced video montage has anything to say about it, his campaign is coming to nothing short of a disastrous end. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how MSNBC's Rachel Maddow has humiliated herself once again as her ratings continue to implode. You're not going to want to miss this. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.